Good afternoon, everybody. Please take your seats. We're going to start our next session. All right, so it's my pleasure this afternoon to introduce the co-founders of Ideon, Gary and Doug, who are going to be talking to us today about how better imaging can unlock better understanding of the subsurface and ultimately better performance throughout the mining industry. So with that brief introduction, it's my pleasure to please welcome Gary Agnew.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's an absolute honor to be here at Stanford Mineral X, back with the scientists, the mathematicians, and the visionaries who are pulling the future of mineral exploration and resource intelligence toward us. I'm Gary Agnew, CEO and co-founder at Ideon Technologies. And at Ideon, we're building the subsurface intelligence layer for the planet. And we're starting with mining. And yes, we are the company that uses the energy from supernova explosions in space to image deep beneath the Earth's surface in high resolution. But this is not a story about space. This is a story about Earth, about unlocking the critical resources humanity needs faster, cleaner, and with more confidence than ever before. To do that, though, we need to address something fundamental first: geological uncertainty. Now, they say the best way to understand a complex idea is to feel it viscerally. So let's do that together. Don't worry, it's not going to hurt. You can all stay in your seats. But what I would like you to do is stare at the screen and close your eyes for a moment. Stare at the screen, then close your eyes. You're going to stare at the screen when you open them back up again in a moment. Now, picture yourself behind the wheel of your car. Your partner's in the passenger seat. The kids are in the back. You're headed to the coast, or maybe you're off to the game. Music's playing, and you are just getting started on your journey. Now, on the count of 3, I want you to open your eyes and look at the screen in front of you. 1, 2, 3. Immediately, you try to focus to realize that something is off. What you see is blurred. The windshield is pixelated. Your eyes are assaulted by low-resolution imaging. You're working with only slim slivers of visibility, a lot like drilling in mining. You can't see what's ahead, and moving forward is dangerous, and moving faster is mindless. Now, even with the best neural nets in the world processing hundreds of frames a second, they cannot overcome the inherent ambiguity with low-resolution data. Low-resolution data, or bad data, leads to bad decisions, and that leads to bad results. Low-resolution data creates high-stakes ambiguity. Uncertainty paralyzes, or worse still, it leads you off a cliff. And the picture isn't much better 3,000 feet underground. Every single day, this is what our mining customers confront. They stitch together geophysics with borehole samples, and what they end up with is imaging that is a mile deep but only a pixel wide. And when a pixel here or a pixel there is the difference between hitting copper and flooding the mine, hopefully you got a sense of the uncertainty our customers deal with in mining. And so there we have it. A multi-trillion-dollar industry making billion-dollar decisions with less than 1% of 1% direct measurement of the ore body. Quite incredible, really. And yet $250 billion a year are invested in exploration, mine development, and operations. And it's guided by these sparsely positioned drill holes and a lot of interpolation. Now, those who are educated in the industry might hear a word like interpolation and think, oh, that's okay, we've got some heavy science going on there. But many times, interpolation is guesswork. And the guesswork is owned often by the loudest person in the room. It is not undergirded with geological understanding. Now let's go back to that driving analogy we just went through together. Same low-resolution imaging, pixelated, fuzzy, but now you have to go 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times faster. And of course, that feels pretty scary. And so it should, because the uncertainty you're confronted with when trying to accelerate. And yet that's what the world is asking of mining today. Massive acceleration with fuzzy imaging. And this kind of uncertainty is holding the whole industry back. It's holding the whole industry back. An example here of how 2/3 of new mine development projects end up being classified as economic disasters. And some of those are corporate disasters. This industry is plagued with uncertainty. And yet reducing it is actually the thing that unlocks optimization across the whole mining value chain. And that's why we founded Ideon. Oil and gas had its reset. Probabilistic decision-making and seismic were the tools that did the job. Jeff, you're nodding your head. You have a lot of expertise in that area. It went from wildcatting to precision drilling. And we're certainly glad that you've decided to come and join the mining industry, Jeff, to share some of those lessons with us. Mining has not had its transformation. Not yet. It's conservative, it's complex, and it's very risk-averse. But it's also critical to humanity's future. We chose mining because it's hard. It's hard, and the stakes are high and getting higher. So to meet this demand, what are our customers doing? They are not standing still. They are working hard to try and improve and grow. They're trying to accelerate the decisions they make without compromising safety. They're trying to produce more while minimizing their impact on the environment. And they're trying to deploy capital earlier with much greater precision. But none of those things are possible without confidence in the Earth's subsurface. At Ideon, our vision is simple and infinite, unlocking subsurface potential. And our mission is accelerating the world's transition to low-impact mining. We're building Ideon to re-platform one of the most critical industries on Earth. Our goal is to be our customers' subsurface intelligence partner with the team and the tools to help them plan and execute with confidence. And underpinning our whole vision is a number of key principles. It's not about more data. It's about higher, better resolution data. It's not about adding data sets. It's about turning data sets into actionable intelligence. And it's not about what you think you know. It's about what you know with confidence. And it's not about what you visualize. It's how do you operationalize in customer workflows. And so at Ideon, we're developing the Reveal platform to unlock this potential that we see in every major mining operation across the world. And we're delivering subsurface intelligence to unlock value from cradle to grave across the value chain. Now, to be clear, when I use the phrase subsurface intelligence, what I am not referring to is an extension to traditional geophysics. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is quantum sensing, physics, AI, geostats, hardware and software engineering integrated not just to map the subsurface, but to characterize it with confidence. We're building the full subsurface intelligence stack from novel sensor modalities in revealed data, a dynamic Earth model, trace that allows us to rewind history and understand the conditions we made a decision on days, weeks, or years ago. Reveal AI allows our customers to interrogate huge volumes of data through conversation. And Reveal Universe is in the hands of our customers for the first time this month. And we're providing an immersive user experience to allow them to navigate and to be able to affect the change, manage the data in the way that they have aspired to for many, many years. And this isn't theory. We're deployed at some of the largest critical metal mines on Earth, working with the largest mining companies on Earth. And we don't just help them find more ore. We help them find it, characterize it, prove it, value it, and ultimately help them extract it from the Earth. Now, there are no shortage of companies that tell you that they can see beneath the Earth's surface. Some use satellites. Some use repurposed geophysics. Others take public data and apply AI to try and understand the Earth beneath our feet. But here's the truth. If your inputs are weak, your recommendations will be too. You don't solve geological uncertainty by adding piles of noisy data. You solve it by anchoring on signal, clean, consistent, physics-based signal. And that's what we set out to find. And we had to go far and a long way away to find it. Back to the supernova explosions that happened through the universe. These explosions give off a shower of cosmic rays that travel through space. And as those cosmic rays interact with matter in the Earth's upper atmosphere, they shower the Earth with subatomic particles. And one of those particles is called a muon. And just to give you a sense of muon intensity here at the Earth's surface, there's a muon hitting your head every second, and there has been since the day you were born. Now, what's cool about these muons is they tell a story. They tell a story about the direction they've traveled and the density of the matter they traveled through. And at Ideon, we've figured out how to understand their stories and tell them for them. What that gives us is the ability to map density in high resolution deep beneath the Earth's subsurface. And actually, density is a wild-ass guess the whole way across the mining value chain. A wild-ass guess. A small sample is extrapolated over huge volumes of Earth. And when it comes to subsurface intelligence, muons change everything. So they're a remarkable little particle. They head towards Earth at the speed of light. They penetrate through kilometers of solid rock. And as I say, each one is carrying a story. And the result, when we join those stories together, we increase confidence and compress time. I'm going to say that again. We increase confidence and compress time. And what that enables our mining company customers to do is to be able to act sooner, act with confidence, be intentional, and move their site forward with real purpose. That's why muon tomography is a foundational layer of our Reveal platform. Not inferred, not interpolated, ground truth, measured directly, deeply, and with confidence. And we're developing a whole suite of solutions to solve different problems across the mining value chain. In fact, muon tomography's tunable resolution, spatial resolution performance actually is what enables it to solve such a variety of problems, from 50-meter scale resolution down to sub-meter scale resolution is absolutely game-changing for this industry. It provides tremendous locational accuracy in terms of where we go and what we do next. And so we have Reveal for exploration, Reveal for resources or resource geology, Reveal for geotech, and Reveal for caving in market today. Now, how have we gone about deciding which problems to solve and how to solve them? We've assembled the Ideon Council of Subsurface Experts, 7 specialists representing every stage of the mining value chain that advise us, coach us, direct us, and provide us input to help us target our technology solutions to the right problems. And look, we've been around this industry for a while, and we know there's a graveyard of startups that thought they knew what the problem was and thought they knew how to solve it. Ideon, we are not going to be that company. We're working in partnership with the entire industry to figure out how we solve their subsurface problems for them. So each one of those solutions is purpose-built. It starts with the problem and we work back. Each one integrates multi-sensor data and AI with physics models. Each one is solving a high-value problem for major mining customers around the world. And each one is underpinned by a common data platform, which gives us tremendous potential across the value chain over time. So when the stakes are high, it's no surprise that the world's largest mining companies are partnering with Ideon. We're embedded in the core operations in the most valuable critical metal assets on Earth. And this isn't just about deploying technology. It's about re-platforming the industry together at enterprise scale. We're earning trust where it matters in operations, where real decisions are made, where real budgets live, and where transformation takes hold and scales. That trust is built on shared values and leadership on both sides. Our customers bring deep expertise, ambition, and the courage to challenge convention. We bring precision, persistence, and an unwavering commitment to solve problems no matter how hard they appear. And when things go sideways, and they often do, we say, that's fantastic. Why? Why would you say that's fantastic? Because that triggers us from the disappointment of the failure into the possibilities. We seek the silver lining to that cloud, and we use that as a way to trigger our energy and trigger our business forward. And that's how people, processes, and products accelerate in terms of their overall development. And so to our partners, we have a few of them in the room here today. I just want to say a huge thank you from Doug, myself, and the rest of the Ideon team. Your partnership is absolutely incredible. You're not just adopting the future, you're also helping us build it in real time, and for that, we will be eternally grateful. So, one of the most powerful questions we ask when we engage our customers at first is, what's the full potential of this asset? Now, some folks, they quote as the measured resource, the measured reserve. Others quote as the measured resource. But in actual fact, what they miss is the full potential of the asset. I can see Mark smiling there. And actually, of course, why have they missed the full potential? Because they are constrained by sparsely spaced drill holes that are expensive, high friction, take time. And therefore, when resources and budgets are constrained, it's only natural that you focus on one area and get high confidence in that one area. But Ideon turns that model on its head. With our technology, we're able to image huge volumes of rock, hundreds of billions of cubic meters of rock, and provide imaging with very high resolution that allows the customer to understand the full potential of the ore body before they start planning the mine, before they start planning the haul roads, before they start planning where the infrastructure is built. And I can't tell you how many mines I've been on where it ends up that the infrastructure was built over the top of some of the ore body, and it had to be moved and repurposed. I mean, that sort of madness doesn't have to be that way anymore. So Ideon answers the question at a fraction of the cost, time, and environmental impact of trying to do that the traditional way. And so for us, uncertainty is not a flaw in the system. It's the starting point for better decisions. And I can't tell you how proud we are to be a consortium member with Jeff, David, and the team here at Mineral X. We've been on the team for a few years, and the quality of the people, the quality of the work, and the intense partnering approach that's taken really makes a huge difference. And we're working on projects. I mean, one of them's in the lobby right now on the poster board. And we're working and co-developing code, and that's immediately going into commercial application with a customer. I mean, talk about the bridge between academia and industry. It's moving at a remarkable pace. And so, Jeff, David, and team, thank you sincerely for everything you're doing. And just the size of the audience this year is a great example of how the momentum is building. And so what's next? Well, we're really focusing on enabling faster and better decisions, and we're focused predominantly on major mining operations. We're building the infrastructure for faster, better decisions where transformation matters the most, in the engine room of critical mineral supply. Now, let's be clear, there's a huge role for exploration, but it is existing mining operations that are going to fill the supply gap, $12 trillion supply gap in the next 10 to 20 years. And we're focused on working with those clients to unlock more supply. And one way we help unlock supply is compress time. And so to do that, we are absolutely expanding the number of use case solutions we offer our customers. You've seen the Reveal platform. We are expanding every layer of the stack. We're landing and expanding with existing top-tier mining companies and growing and adding customers from the intermediates. And we're expanding geographically to help make sure that we're in the places that our customers need us to be. So at Ideon, we have a bold and infinite vision to unlock the planet's subsurface potential, starting in mining, through sharper visibility, deeper confidence, and better decisions. We're not just helping major mining companies find more ore. We're establishing ground truth, helping them see with confidence to make smarter bets, faster calls, and fewer mistakes when it matters most. To bring critical minerals to market sooner, cleaner, and with far less risk. So this is how mining transforms. This is how we rise to the challenge. By understanding what's hidden, we can deliver what is essential. This is how we meet the moment. And this is how we unlock the future of humanity, by understanding the earth beneath our feet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a great, kind of inspiring, forward-looking speech. I want to start, though, with the past and the story of how you guys got started, because this group of the three of us is a weird panel for a mining conference. I have an aerospace background. I like your self-driving car analogy because I spent about 5 years doing AV research before moving over into mining. You're an industrials executive previously. Doug, you're an astrophysicist, particle physicist, excuse me. God forbid. So how did this happen? How did two people with such disparate backgrounds end up starting a mining tech company like this?
Well, I was associated with the mining business for 20-odd years. I worked for the world's largest Caterpillar equipment franchise and was an executive there for 10 years. And so I'd been busy selling yellow equipment, dozers, trucks, shovels to many of the customers in this room. And I guess it was really as autonomous haulage started to come into play, and I was involved in that in a number of projects. And something struck me. The customer was spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this new shiny Caterpillar equipment, no operators and all that stuff. And yet the error bars on the block model were exactly the same as they'd always been. And so it almost felt like we were tickling the fringes of efficiency in mining, that actually we had to go deeper and we had to get more accuracy in the subsurface to be able to allow the whole system to operate differently. And so that was my background, and I decided to leave, mid-40s, was looking for something a bit more purposeful for the rest of my career, and I bumped into this guy. And he was talking about particle physics and breakthrough and all this stuff, and maybe you can pick it up from there.
Yeah, I was working at CERN actually just before meeting Gary. I was working on using muons as a probe of quantum properties of the Higgs boson that was just discovered in the 2010s. And after leaving that, I started working on muon attenuation as a probe of material density at Triumph, and we kicked off a research project and then spun out of the lab. But we were having a real problem kind of getting business traction. I had no business, credibility or background, and so we wanted to really find someone who could work with us and turn this into something that wasn't just a science project, but really actionable in the industry. And kissed a few frogs and met Gary through UBC Ventures, and kicked off right away, and it was a great partnership.
And was your original research geared toward the mining industry or the subsurface, and were you looking for somebody like Gary when you found him, or how did that come to pass?
Yeah, I mean, not really. My academic past was in really esoteric stuff, nothing to do with mining. But kind of wrapping up a postdoc, I was looking for something a little more practical, and came across this. It came from industry, actually. There was a geophysicist in Canada who heard about some work the Japanese were doing in mapping volcanoes using muon tomography, and sort of asked the question to a lab at UBC if this could be done for mineral exploration. And that launched kind of a research program, and I was really excited by the idea, jumped on it, and the rest is history, so to speak.
And maybe just to jump in there, as the technology come out of Triumph, the government lab in Canada, the team had done trials in mining, in mapping hydroelectric dams, in oil and gas. I mean, a whole range of use cases. And so as I got on board, obviously my background in mining was part of that equation, but focus is your friend as a startup, and I just couldn't see a world where we're going to pursue 4 or 5 or 6 different industry verticals. And just around this time, critical minerals started to become a part of the conversation. And so really it was a combination of my background, the underlying technology, the context of what was happening in the world, where we said, look, it looks like mining might be the place to go and push into first.
So on that note, Doug, you before said this is a pretty esoteric field. I think before you guys came on the scene, I don't know how many mining executives and professionals were thinking about muons. So effectively what you're doing in your business is you're selling information derived from this esoteric particle or wave, I'm not sure. I can tell that nobody thinks about it because that would have killed at a physics convention. But you're selling data from muons, which again is this esoteric thing. How do you communicate what muons can unlock to your customers in a way that gets them excited? How do you get them to understand what the potential of this is?
I mean, first of all, we talk to the customer in their language. We're talking about quarterly earnings, dilution risk, overbreak, So we talk to the customer in language that's familiar to them about the problems they're solving in the world. Now, don't get me wrong, John. Subatomic physics solving real problems in the real world, that doesn't happen every day. And so we certainly get some good early engagement just out of curiosity. People just want to know more what the hell we're doing, and hopefully that early curiosity we're able then to turn into how do we deliver business impact for them in areas that they care about.
So I guess on that front, there's a lot of companies out there presenting new data processing, new to sensing modalities, satellite, kind of the stuff you alluded to in your presentation. In your experience with the companies you've worked with so far, what in data drives good outcomes versus bad? What actually kind of leads toward having impacts then on the operational side in the language you're speaking here?
Yeah, one of the big things I think that it even took us a while to figure out and articulate was 2 things. One is really directional information, so that detection of some anomalous feature is commensurate with identifying where it is in space, and so that is a powerful driver to be able to sort of understand what's going on in the subsurface. And I think the second thing is sort of operational indifference or operational insensitivity. So, from the muon's perspective, the Earth is flat as a pancake, and it passes through in a nanosecond or a few nanoseconds. And so, the fact that you're blasting nearby or driving trucks or you have a electromagnetic power station nearby doesn't really affect it. And so that gives us kind of a unique ability to really operate in noisy mine environments, and then to be able to image with really high resolution. So really having a sensitivity to the geological hypothesis in question, to be able to answer it one way or the other, and then to quantify the residual uncertainty. What's the range of geological models that are consistent with the data in this environment? So that's really what you want to have as a high quality outcome is that full kind of complete picture of geological reality.
Is there a particular outcome that you've seen your customers react the best to so far? Environmental impact, grade control, all the sort of things that you've mentioned before. Is there something that has been the most, like what gets people excited about muons when you talk to them?
I think people are skeptical at first, to be honest. And so, there's always that really satisfying moment when you deliver an outcome and wow, that actually works. Like physics is real. Math and physics works at my site too. But I think there's been some really, really compelling results in the past, I would say, year and a half, ranging from high resolution block cave imaging, mapping a whole football field sized cave that emanates 600 meters above you is really challenging to get in one snapshot, and we can do that on a monthly basis. So getting those results coming in, and then some really high resolution mapping of complex ore bodies recently. Olympic Dam published a case study there earlier this year. Fireweed metals, really interesting across a wide strike extent, mapping to 5-10 meter resolution. Really powerful stuff, and customers are really engaged.
I guess my favorite is we've deployed at a couple of the largest block caves in the world over the last few months, and block caves are kind of a critical mining method for low-grade copper at depth. And these customers have been trying to understand the subsurface using drill holes. And one customer, I'll sanitize it, says, I'm piercing this effing thing with drill holes, and I still don't know what the F is going on. And then we deployed muon. That's fantastic. And we deployed muon tomography, and suddenly we're providing that imaging in a 3D basis on a monthly cadence. And suddenly their ability to understand how they optimize the draw strategy, plan their production. I mean, they couldn't, one of the largest block caves in the world, and they were struggling to know what they're going to produce next quarter and next year. And we're helping them disentangle that problem and give them more confidence in their forecast.
That's great. I'm going to shift over to a couple of our audience-submitted questions here. I think this first one's probably on a lot of people's mind. Please explain how your tech works to someone with no physics background. Thank you.
I'll do that, shall I? So yeah, I mean, I touched on it in my talk. So yeah, these subatomic particles, they arrive at the Earth's surface as a result of supernova explosions in space, and they penetrate deep inside the Earth. And so we deploy sensors in two different form factors. One is down an industry standard drill hole, so you don't have underground infrastructure, we can get deployed at depth. And the other one is a flat panel, like a flat panel TV that we deploy in underground mines. And so the sensors sit there passively interrogating muon intensity and directionality. And then really we're using tomography as you would use in medical imaging to convert those muon ray paths into 2D X-rays from each sensor. And then multiple sensors allow us to turn that into a 3D reconstruction in high resolution.
Doug, how do you do?
He beats me with a stick when I get it wrong.
That's fantastic. The other question here is how does the muon tech increase spatial resolution of the data? How and where are the sensors deployed? And I guess I'm just going to tack on one of the other questions here is, can you describe the utilization of the detectors in site?
Yeah, I think there's kind of a niche place that we play in. You have super high resolution drill core that's very sparse. You can measure millimeter precision along a drill core. And then you have a lot of other geophysical techniques that do really well at sort of 50 meters kind of spatial dimensions. And we have the ability to image kind of in that 5 to 50 meter range, as Gary mentioned, even down to below a meter scale. We've demonstrated in some projects. And so, really the way that the resolution is teased out is through that directional capability I mentioned, where each muon is a directional measurement. We're measuring where it came from. So from a perspective of a single detector placed at some location, you have some X-ray image, and each pixel is a unique data point, essentially, statistically independent from other data points. So from that perspective, you can conceptualize a single detector in a mine as like 10,000 gravimeters installed in an area. And so the data density is quite high, and the directional resolution of the detector is very good, so less than a degree. And so it allows us to really resolve structure in 3D.
And to dig into that a little bit more, are you deploying multiple sensors per site, or is this one sensor you're moving around? Kind of on the field, give us a sense of what your customer's experience is like.
Yeah, we're typically deploying on the order of tens of detectors per site, some up to 25, 30, some down in the sort of tens, but it really depends on the kind of geological question we're trying to answer.
Okay. Zooming back out here a little bit, like you said, you talked a lot about the future of mining, the future of uncertainty, and the role that Ideon plays. Beyond the impact that you're aiming to have, what are, and I'm going to ask both of you to answer this individually, what is one thing you're hoping to see done differently or different about the industry in the next 5 to 10 years? And what role does Ideon and programs like Mineral X play in that transition?
You should take that one,
I mean, two things that come to my mind are, one, to be more quantitative about uncertainty. I find in my experience speaking with a lot of clients, geologists, mining engineers, that uncertainty is often more of an emotional thing. And I think if we put the effort in to quantify it, it's something we can measure, then we can optimize it. And when we can optimize it, we can make better mining value chain processes. I think the other one is to be maybe a little more trusting about the outside world. Does muons or does physics and math work at my site is a real question. It's coded differently at times. It's said in different words, but it amounts to that effectively. So I think it would be really good. And I just see Mineral X providing a lot of value there in creating a whole ecosystem of mining technology that becomes adopted, and it becomes kind of an accepted fact that data scientists and physicists have something to offer to this industry.
For me, I think it's the fact that I've been in rooms like this before, and it's been full of technology companies. And it's a great conversation, but it's a little bit insular. And what I like about what Mineral X is doing is bringing the industry together, some of the senior leaders from across the industry to be part of this conversation and to dig in and find the places where we need to collaborate to get to a better outcome. And then given I've been around this mining industry for pretty much all of my career, I'd just love to see this industry be recognized more broadly for what it contributes to the world. It's kind of got this horrible reputation from the past, and yet people outside the industry have no concept of the complexity, the talent, the expertise that's needed. Literally, this industry moves mountains every day. And just to give you a sense, this industry moves enough material in 2 days to basically flatten and rebuild Manhattan. I mean, just the sheer scale of it, I don't think people understand outside the industry. So for me, I think there's a brand building opportunity for mining to take some of these new underlying capabilities, get better, get smarter the way we run our business, but also get recognized for it in the outside world.
Okay, I guess one final question. A lot of the folks here today are students, postdocs, they're in academia looking to eventually make the transition into industry. Option to go to the conventional mining players, option to join you guys or similar companies. What advice would you give to somebody that wants to make an impact on this industry at the start of their career?
Join us. Good one.
All right, no repeat answers.
No, I mean, when I left sort of academia and showed up at my first mine site with boots on and orange coveralls, I loved it. It's amazing. The logistical complexity at a single mine site is awe-inspiring. So I think it's a wonderful industry to join, and I think it's a place we can make a real impact.
Yeah, and programs like Mineral X, we think this is such a great staging post for academic talent that's getting ready to move out into the real world, and certainly that's a part of our collaboration here is we want to work with great talent, and if there's a match between what they're looking to do and what Ideon needs, we absolutely want to bring them into our team and help continue the relationship that's already been established.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.